A very good evening to all our viewers. Welcome to this edition of the Evening Review. It's Monday. My name is Taiwan Jabela, your host for tonight. Let's have a look at today's front page of Namibian Sun. Tonight, we are welcoming back to the show Kazenambo Kazenambo. He's a former minister, he's a former Swapo Central Committee member, and a member of parliament also representing the ruling party. But he is not serving in any of those capacities at the moment. So he's like a free man now. He speaks his mind. Good evening and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here again.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know whether I should keep this or I should remove it.
I think we should keep it on. Then at least we have a bit of protection. So you are back in the news. Last week there were reports, Nampa, the interview that you did, and you were even on Eagle FM last night, where you expressed your views, as you always do. But let me put this to you, Mr. Kazenambo. There's something, those of us who follow your politics very well have come to learn that every time there is a Swapo elective Congress coming up, you up the tone a little bit. You set a narrative, and in some cases that narrative has worked. In 2012, for example, or before the 2012 Congress, you spoke about the Nana Swapo president. You set that tone, and it came to pass. 2017, you were part of another team, and you were vocal on certain issues. Now, Congress again in 2022, and you are saying Swapo is a sinking ship. It lacks leadership. Is this purely coincidental, or do you do this on purpose?
There is no person. First, let me greet your viewers.
Yes.
And thank you for bringing me here.
Yes.
We are in trying times.
Yes. Okay.
We are in trying times.
Yeah.
I'm a son of the soil. I'm a son of Swapo.
Yes.
There is nothing that is in my DNA, politically speaking, than Swapo. So the dynamics and the narratives that forms the way forward of Swapo,
yeah,
it's always ringing tone in me wherever I am to know which are the right courses,
yeah,
and which are the wrong courses of action, which are the best way to take strategically for the survival of our organization.
Yeah.
I was trained militarily by this organization, I was trained academically by this organization. Throughout my entire life, I have lived the culture of Swapo. My behavior and my antennas are always guided by the ethos, the values of this party, not influenced by my personal interest, but by the traditional cultural values of Swapo that made us to survive over decades in different situations, in different countries, in different environment. So these are the guidance that guide me to say which are the right courses for the survival of this organization. And this is a people's organization that has gone through the crucible of the liberation struggle. So the trends, I'm not doing it by purpose or for purposely, but I read the environment, the political environment, and read the weather, and then say that under this weather, Swapo need to take this course for its survival, because the environment is not static. Political environment is always dynamic. There are a lot of influencing factors that tells you that under this situation we must apply or employ these tactics and strategy for our survival.
I hear you. So you spoke in your interview with Nampa, you spoke about 2024, the need for the party to reinvent itself and be ready as a force to reckon with by 2024. The best opportunity, some would say, is the Congress that the party is having next year. That will be the turning point on whether Swapo want to continue on the trajectory that it's on right now, or emerge out of that congregation as a brand new entity striving to regain its strength. Do you subscribe to that view?
Swapo has always been a transformational organization, be it itself as an organization, as a living organization. We transformed ourselves from OPC. That was established by the likes of late Andreas Chipanga, Toiwea Toivo, may the soul rest in peace, the ML Apollos, and the rest in Cape Town. We transformed ourselves from Ovambo People's Congress into Ovambo People's Organization. And we transformed ourselves from Ovambo People's Organization to Southwest Africa People's Organization, Swapo. And these transformations were dictated by the factors on the ground. Although throughout its formation, Swapo was always formed by Namibians from across the spectrum or the societal setup of this society. It was never a tribal organization, although at one point it carried a tribal name. But if you check the list of the people who founded this organization, from the beginning, it has been Namibians on their diverse form. And it will be reflected by the founders, people who were its chairman, the Murumba Kerina, the Meroro, the ML Apollos played a critical role, they saved in their what, the Jacob Kuhangwa, the Sem Nyoma, the Karita, the Greenwell Matongo, and so on and so on, and many guys, many leaders that I cannot exhaust here. And Swapo has always reflected the societal setup of this organization, and it has been an organization on the move, on transformation. It was not a narrow-based organization. So we have always been evolving.
So what must happen? What must happen then between now and 2024?
What need to be happening between now and 2024 is to realistically for Swapo leaders, both the current leadership that are in office and the leaders of Swapo wherever they found themselves and the entire rank and file of Swapo to look ourselves critically in the mirror and say that is our organization geared up to meet the challenge, and the challenges are there, without apportioning any blame to anybody, because apportioning blame is the easiest thing to do. It's the easiest things to do. The challenge is for us to realize that we are together in this ship. Whether I blame this one or I call this one a name and so on, these things will not save this ship. We as an organization, we are under an onslaught at the moment from our competitors. I wouldn't like to call them enemies because we have moved on, but they are our competitors in the political space. Our competitors are reading on our both internal and external weaknesses, and they're exploiting on this. So between now and 2024, it's for us to do a SWOT analysis of ourselves, and then we do the pest analysis of the environment in which we are operating, and move in recreating ourselves and reformulating our strategies and tactics for the survival of our organization. We need to say, wait a minute, let's face the reality. Whether you are a Swapo member who is in the leadership today, or you are a Swapo member wherever you find yourself, our organization is facing an onslaught. So the current situation in the party, the luxury that we are enjoying at the moment of fighting one another, overall it is not. It is a weak link. It is a weak point, because at the moment, Swapo as an organization, and Swapo, the membership, especially those who are in the leadership, many of them are enjoying to bash other members, to exclude other members. Swapo is an organization that is at war with itself. We are not taking the battle to the square doors of the competitors, and we are dealing, politically speaking. If I was in the seat somewhere, we are facing a weak opposition. They have got a lot of challenges. They are found wanting in many ways. Some of them are colleagues who came from Swapo. And because the enemy outside, if I can go outside Swapo, you see, Swapo must realize that it has lost some of its best brains. Youngsters, I can list them here. Youngsters like Short Boy, whether you like it or not, he was groomed in this organization. He's one of the brilliant cadre of this organization. Seibeb the same, Ampanda the same, Itula the same, and so on. The list is on. Now I'm talking about a crop of people who have formed their organization and who are fighting Swapo. And is they entitled to that? You must be a fool, a really fool, a buffoon to its best, to try to underestimate these boys. You have got, these gentlemen or gentle ladies. You must be really a fool, politically speaking, because you are facing a problem. And whether you like it, let me exhaust this point. These people that I have listed, they know this organization in and out. And some of them, they served in structures like Swapo Youth League. Some of them, they were assistant to prime ministers, to ministers. Seibebe was an assistant to ministers of environment, and ministers of, he was an assistant to the secretary general, and same with Comrade Swapo, he was assistant to Dr. Libertina Madila, and a number of them.
Yes.
And they also served in Swapo Youth League and so on for many years. Same with Dr. Itula. He knows the internal politics of this country as far as Swapo is concerned. So you have got a crop. If it was a company, you have got a people who have moved from a company who knows the intellectual, the institutional memory and your tactics and everything. So those are the people who are fighting in. And then we have got a second layer of people like myself. My friend, if I can decide to cause nonsense in this organization, it will be bleeding, politically speaking. It will be bleeding if I can decide to be anarchic and cause trouble for this organization. I was a special assistant to the Prime Minister for many years. I was a cabinet minister. I was a member of parliament. I'm a combat-trained cadre of Swapo who is tested in the battlefield. People can talk nonsense that they already did participate in combat. There are guys who are living here who are commanded in the field, in the battle, who engaged with me in the battle. There are many of them here, whether they deny it. A guy like me, and I lived in Lubango for many years. I have seen it through. I was born in Swapo. I was in the office of the chief representative of Swapo in Francistown when I was a student. So I have got many institutional memories of this organization to turn the tables up. So, and you have got many guys that you are ruffling. People who served as ministers, who served as a person like Pendukeni Itana, Ivula Itana. She was in exile. She was your secretary for women affairs for many years. And she was a minister who served under your system for many years. Same with the Helmut Angula. Same with the Nahas Angula. If this organization was a company, these people knows all the secrets of this company. They knows its weakness. So when they decide to hit you, they will hit you hard. So these are a group of people and who can ruffle this organization badly. And you have got an opportunity that you are missing. Many of these people are saying that, no, we are willing to hold our horses. The only thing that we are calling for, let's open up for the sake of this organization. Let's open up. Let us not wash our dirty linen in public. Let's have a dialogue where it went wrong, where we ruffled ourselves personally, where we abused one another personally, where everybody think that we have wronged one another. Let's close the door and beat it and thrash it out. And then for the sake of our organization, for the sake of our country, we move on and face the competition. But it looks like the current leadership, unfortunately, maybe because of them, many of them, they are political novices. They are just good for yes people. For them, they see money and positions and status and competitions. That's it. They don't know that there are people who can pull the curtains under their feet, and they are there. So all I'm saying, between now and 2024, I will appeal to everybody, if I could be listened to, that those of us who seems to have been wronged, or everybody, in fact, everybody feels that they've been wronged. Those who are inside and those who are outside. But for me, that's luxury. Luxury for all of us. What we need to do is to swallow our pride, to mend our egos, and we say that as a Swapo family, we quarreled, we fought, we have roughed one another, but for the sake of this bigger organization that for which we left our colleagues in unmarked graves across this world, to save this brand, let us swallow our pride and concentrate on the bigger picture and what. But this is not what we are getting.
But let me ask you, Mr. Kazenambo, that you know, the notion that Swapo cannot exist without certain persons, because you spoke about the evolution of this organization people have come and gone. And that is the tradition that any institution should adopt, ideally. So we can't say that if Kazenambo is no longer in the leadership of the party, that somehow that is the end of Swapo. How about the new other guys who must also come and lead from where you left when you were in the leadership yourself?
Far from it. No, we are not nobody, at least for me, I'm not suggesting that. That's why I'm saying that. Swapo has been an organization that has always guarded its path for its survival. You know, I'll give you and there is no way, nobody is suggesting that, that the colleagues who are here, who are leading this organization, then somebody is what is the right word in English? It's checkmating them, or it's overshadowing them, or it's competing with them indirectly. Swapo is an organization that is guided by its public policy instruments, our constitution, our code of conduct, our everything. Everybody in Swapo have got the rights and obligations. That's why I'm saying that under Swapo's obligation, I'm obliged to accept the new leadership and to follow them. And personally, I did that for the past 3 years. I reconciled with this guy, with these leaders. I followed them as per the guidance of the party. But I met a total different environment. And it's not, you know, when Yatoivo, may his soul rest in peace, when Yatoivo was released from prison, people thought that this is the end of Swapo because there is going to be a power struggle between Yatoivo as a founder of Swapo in Cape Town and so on, and Dr. Sam Nyoma as a leader of Swapo, who led this organization, who petitioned at the United Nations and who led the armed liberation struggle and so on. And even when we returned here, people thought that now, some in their own illusions, they thought that the exile leadership and the internal leadership, staunch guys like Mawilili, larger than life, these guys or these leaders will clash. But Swapo in its way of doing things, its mechanism and so on, it handled the issue of Yatoivo's release and his incorporation back into the fold of Swapo leadership in a manner that never ruffled anything.
I hear you.
And the struggle continued. So it took both at a human level. It took a lot of humbleness from both President Nyoma, president of Swapo, a fella who lived in the exile, led these guys in guerrillas, saw the Kasinga crisis, or saw a number of evolution in fights in Swapo, and so on. And then a fella like Yatoivo, a humble fella, who came from prison, spent a lot of years in prison and so on. You know what kept us together, what humbled all others? These people had a purpose. These people had a mission. They put a bigger purpose and a bigger mission beyond themselves. The struggle was the bigger case. Swapo was supposed to survive, to carry on the struggle. The mission was the struggle. And this mission, we could not afford to rock the boat because of positions. Who should be president, who should be what. Everybody was really prepared to see how do we arrange the sitting arrangement to accommodate one another for a bigger cause. You don't see that at this current moment. That's why the thing is just either to punish certain people or to show off, to show that I have got power, I'm the guy who is here, and you kneel under my shoes for me to prove a point, as if you never believed that you will occupy that position. No, the colleagues who are in the Central Committee, we welcome them. Some of us, we have been there at our young age. But occupying a Central Committee position or a ministerial position or a position in the Politburo or a position in the Central Committee, it should not be to show off
I hear you.
that you have got that position. It should say, or to say, to brag around, or to show to me as a loser or a defeated person that no, you lost it. Yeah,
now let me ask you, former Minister Kazenambo, to say, now, what should be, like I said earlier, you dodged that question. You didn't answer my question, the first one, what to say about the Congress next year. Is it an opportunity for renewal of this organization in terms of installing the ideal leaders that you are painting a picture of right now? And so is it an opportunity for renewal? And since you have always been a very critical catalyst in these congresses, what is going to be Kazenambo's role this time around?
I'm a free citizen. I'm a free citizen. Kazenambo's role is to remain quiet and only step in where it's warranted. I'm not in any structure, and that's the narrow thinkness of those who are some not. They are still good guys there in the leadership of Swapo. They are still smart guys, men and women of repute in the organization. They are still there, but there are some new political novices who really don't understand the game, how the game is being played, and therefore they are spoiling it for all of us. Instead of them learning, their egos are driving them astray. But when it comes to the really be it facing the Kazenambo or facing the opposition, they are zero delivery. Their concentration is just to brag off and to show you that they are there, to show them. But when it comes to defending Swapo and defending the country, even defending their own current president, is a man who is just fighting lonely there, alone, and he's messing up a lot because he cannot be advised. The people, some of them, they think that if they can say that, Comrade President, you are messing up big time, they think that they will lose their job. Because for them, they are there for a job. But some of us, we know that if I can tell Geingob that, no, Comrade President, here, it's not even in your best interest. I have quarreled with him before, badly, but he maintained me, he retained me, because at the end of the day, we're not quarreling over a beer. We are quarreling to say that, no, let's quarrel to navigate Swapo. It's not there. With your power, say you are a prime minister or you are a president, with all due respect, Comrade President Sam Nujoma, I beg you, you are wrong. Yeah, you are wrong. You know, when we during our youth time, and even those who served under Sam Nujoma will know it very well, that President Sam Nujoma, when he has got a position, wrong or good, he will go for it. He will go for it, he will push it. And after he push it, and this, all of us, what you learn when you deal with strong and weak leaders, you know how to, you are beaten, you come back, you know, you master the maneuvers of coming back. And at the end of the day, President Nujoma, after you have fought, and through that fighting you, because he's a survivor, he has to survive, and this organization, he has to make it to survive. He will now own to the polished idea, and he will now police you, harass you, push you over the very same idea that he was rejecting. That's leadership. That's leadership. When you are serving leaders, it doesn't mean that you must be a school girl or a school boy who just doing a recitation. Leadership is battle. You battle with your bosses in order to save the organization. So the colleagues that are there, they are not helping the current leadership. They are concentrating on humiliating some of those so-called who have been defeated. But they cannot face Short Boy. They cannot face Ampanda. They are being harassed here by these boys, because these boys, to start with, I'm telling you, and they are leaders, my dear, they are honorables. They are honorables. They are honorable in his worship and so on, although one was rejecting to put the what? The chain. The chain. But they are really his worship and the honorable. But some of these newcomers, you know, if I were them tackling Swatboy or Ampanda, these guys, they don't know that these are newcomers. Some of them, they have never featured anywhere in the students' struggle in Swapo Youth League politics. They know anything, they know nothing. Them, they know Swapo better than these new clowns, some of them.
The last question.
So they are dealing with them and roughing them because they know Swapo. They are employing tactics. You know, so, these guys were trained by Swapo. So they know the tactics and the radicalism which they can employ, and they intimidate some of these people. So because they are the party, the party they are playing with, they know all the tricks. So you need to know how to handle these guys. So now these guys, because they mark these guys and then they go to the leaders of this organization. These newcomers, poor people, instead of engaging their colleagues, some of them like us, who for 3 years I volunteered myself to help my organization. I told you I met insult from some of these newcomers. What they are doing is to show us that we have been defeated, to disrespect the people who are out and so on. But when it comes to speak, even on behalf of Swapo, we are volunteering. There are a lot of fellow Swapo members who are volunteering, even to help the Department of Information.
The last question for Mr. Kazenambo.
The last question was...
I have the last. I have a last question for you because of time. And the last question is Mr. Kazenambo. So you are known to be the guy who, especially on tribalism, you are very, very outspoken on that subject. And it was for that reason that prior to 2012, you openly called for the non-Swapo president for the country, I suppose, and for the party. The funny thing that happened, Mr. Kazenambo, then is, so President Geingob was voted, he became, of course, vice president in 2012. And then when he was now vying for the position of president of the party, the very men who created the narrative prior to 2012 to say we needed a non-Swapo president, you stood on the ticket of those that were actually opposing him. I thought for a guy who called for a non-Swapo president, when the opportunity for that arrived, you would have now rallied behind him. Of course, he was president of the country by that time, but Swapo also needed a non-Swapo president itself. Are you a flip-flopper, Mr. Kazenambo? Are you a man of your words? Are you a man that even next year, if you were to be thrown in the head and become a leader, maybe after the Congress, which Kazenambo will show up? Because some people wouldn't know whether it's the Kazenambo who says non-Swapo president, and then when the opportunity comes, doesn't back that president. What, are you a flip-flopper, Mr. Kazenambo?
If you are dealing with a guerrilla fighter like myself, and you always expect me to emerge in the usual color you know, then you are not dealing with a guerrilla fighter. But a guerrilla fighter, a politician doesn't change principles. I was not dealing with, in fact, I hear people saying that I spoke, when I was talking about non-Swapo president, I was talking about Geingob. Where did I mention Geingob's name? Geingob was one of those leaders who are non-Swapo, and I begged him. But it didn't mean that when I begged him, even if he was going to kill the people, I will join him in killing the people. Or it didn't mean that when I begged him, when he's violating the Swapo constitution, I should join him in violating the Swapo constitution. I will say that, no. I begged this gentleman, but now he's busy drifting from Swapo principles. And as a guerrilla, I'll maneuver my way to distance myself from the violator of the Swapo constitution. So check what are the things that made me to go apart from President Geingob. It was not a question of Geingob. And that's why I'm saying that many of these people are personalizing politics. And that's why I said that President Geingob, with due respect, he must not personalize and turn the Namibian system and the system of governance onto himself. I never went into Swapo to even read. You know, I used to sit around the desk with my father. We agree on certain principles, on certain ideological issues, we debate thoroughly. So because we are not taking, so really I'm not a flip flopper. but the environment when it changed. I read somebody saying that, yeah, when I was stating a statement of fact that the civilian leadership of Swapo, including President Sam Nujoma, they were not short-head. Those who think that leaders you can in Swapo, puppets, really sense, puppets who are in Swapo to clap hands and what. When I stated a factual statement like that, they started saying that, yeah, he's insulting the old men and so on and so on. Cheap politics. Where did Sam Nujoma or Pahamba or Hage or many of them, where were they engaged in military engagement or combat engagement? None. And some of them, they are questioning apparently, where did I participate in combat engagement? I fought with Sam Nujoma's sons in engagement, including Saki Nujoma. We are together in combat engagement. We marched together. There are many people that I can mention here. I met Charlie at Moscow battalion, deep in the bush. I never lived in the refugee camp myself. From Botswana, from the office of Swapo, chief representative where I used to work with the Pumbu, the current gentleman who is the protocol here, and Andrew Gedinwa, I was deployed at the front. I arrived in Lusaka, flew to Luanda, Lubango Haidua, Tobias Anyeko, pushed to the front until demobilization. I came from demobilization. Vilho, the current Minister of Defense, we were together at the front. We were together in Bravo. So, some people tribalist, since you hear there is an arrogance in this country that if you are Nano Shuambo, you must have been Kakunyas. The first Makakunyas in this country, check your records. They were Ovambos. Check your records. The first Makakunya in this country, they were Ovambo speaking. And you will say it's tribalism. Herero was only going to become Makakunya in 1978 after the Town Hall. After the Ovambos, Makakunyas have been there since 1965. And now for you to say that because I'm a Herero, I'm a Kakunya, have you forgotten the Makakunyas from the north? Who were born there, who were there since the times of Kalangula, the Njombas, and so on. So, I'm not a flip-flopper. Okay. I'm a person who believes in Swapo's ideology. I'm a person who believes in Swapo ethos. I'm a non-tribalist. I'm a person who defend my rights. Yes. So, and tribalists will always give me their color. Yeah. And they will say that when he's saying this is a tribalist, and this is what, for them to sing for their supper. Yeah. I'm not singing for my supper from anybody. Yeah. Be it from who? No, I'm a Swapo member on my own right. Even my father who has baptized me in Swapo, we used to engage one another. And they would say, where did his father, where it was? My father's house in Sihitwa, it was a transit camp. Yeah. People know about Horeka Murungu, Daniel Munamaba, one of our heroes. But he was with a team. Yeah. He was with a team of Maikopo, the Mopurwas, the Njarakanas, the ladies like Memeka Pombo, and so on. It was a team. And
we live with that.
So really, I'm not a tribalist. Yes. I'm not a flip-flopper, but I'm not singing to the supper of anybody. If all I'm saying, I'm appealing to is that, please, people, we are under attack. We are being tripled. Yeah. Tripled by even kids who came from Swapo, but they are honorables now. Yeah. Let's regroup. Let's lock ourselves in a room. Let's swallow our pride. Let's reorganize Swapo. It's still a strong force. There are people outside there who are crying for this historic movement, for this movement of higher standing to master itself and organize itself, to battle this political non-entities. I respect the organization. We're in democracy. They are respected, but they will get it from us.
You've made your point, Mr. Kazenambo.
But I thought now you ambush me. We said we will discuss Namibia. Now you dodged Namibia.
Now it's time now, but we'll do that. You are always welcome back to the show.
Because Namibia has hit my heart.
Yes, we'll talk about it, definitely. But for now, thank you, Mr. Kazenambo.
Thank you. So Swapo is still strong, and Swapo is going to battle it out.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Don't write us off. It's too early.
Sure, sure.
That's
That's Kazenambo. Of course, returning to the show today again to give us his views, like he always does, candid views. And yeah, we always enjoy having him here. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. Good night.